Welcome back to Brothers in Boots. My name is Mike.
Miss Jeff.
Today we have an episode on stuff that I have received recently. This will be a pair of Wesco's, a pair of Flora Night Bespoke, and a pair of KustomKraft monkey boots. We did an episode in the past on this one, or maybe I did an episode in the past on this one. I don't remember. This might have been the one that I did solo, where I kind of did it like, what Mike has new coming in. Well, this is kind of part 2 of that. So we'll start with, what are you drinking, Jeff?
This is a Old Scout 10-year from the Whiskey Barrel Society, one of my groups. And this pick was 101 proof, 101.4. It's MGP juice. It's nice. Their low rye mash bill, which is pretty rare. They usually do their picks in the high rye. I prefer the low rye.
I think we've had a conversation about everyone's changing taste in rye, of these high, like 90% ryes that were only meant to be blended Canadian, not drank at that high rye taste that you see a lot of them coming out with these days.
Well, we have, but that's a rye whiskey. This is a rye bourbon. Okay. This is a low rye bourbon versus a high rye bourbon.
Yeah. And then I have some Smoke Eye Hill. This is a M-House MGP brand. This is bottled in Colorado Springs and distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. It is a 93 proof, non-age stated. These run, I think they're like $49 to $55. They're a fantastic pickup if they're in your state. Fairly limited allocation still, just like with their Dark Arts in-house brand. Not seeing it everywhere just yet. It's blue heirloom corn, for those in the know. Kind of gives you an idea of its flavor profile versus something like red heirloom corn, which is a little on the spicier side. So anyway, let's get started. So
take it away.
Yep, pair number 1 we're going to be starting with is this beautiful blue pair of blue Shinky Horse Rump Wesco Boss. It's done in a semi Mr. Lou style on the Boss last. I did not do triple stitching on this like I did on my other pair, but this is blue Shinky Horse Rump that I did provide. It is a stunning pair of blue Shinky Horse Rump. They picked areas that did not have near as much of the kind of turtle skinning or the kind of checkering pattern, but overall, especially via West Coast standards as of recent with some of the ones. And I think if you guys saw the last episode of this, the other pair I received, there were some issues with, but overall it turned out fantastic. This is their, custom branded sole, blah, blah. This does have the patented tokenol followed up with Pat Deluxe and Mirror Gloss edge dressing that we've talked about. And I think Chris did show off on the channel. So if you order natural from Wesco, you just get sanded. And it comes just sanded. So unless you get their beeswax finish, or in this case, since I knew what I was going to do to it, it makes more sense. But, for those who don't know, and I'm going to pull up some other pictures of the pair. Huh?
They didn't finish the waist, did they?
No, I did this. That's tokenol finished. Yeah, they don't do it. They leave it. Hold on, let's see if I can get some light off. They leave it nice and fuzzy, but as you can see, I burnished it down with tokenol because usually it's very fuzzy. So I do tokenol and wax that a little bit, just so it doesn't pull in quite as much of the moisture and stuff when you're walking out in wet conditions. So a lot of people, when they run their midsoles, they flip them upside down so they don't have to sand aside and you get the smooth side on the bottom of the leather, right? So like your Franks. I'm not entirely sure. I only have one pair of Nicks and half sole, and I don't remember. No, I have 2 pairs. I don't remember if they do the smooth side or not, but like Frank's does, White's does, the KustomKrafts I'm wearing right now, they do. Usually you use the smooth side on the bottom, but Wesco sands both sides, so you get sanded on both. So, and then here we go. We're going to pull it up. So this is, and these pictures are on Instagram, but I figured I'd bring them up here just so everyone can see. So they are 2-row stitched except for the top. They are an 8-inch build. This is a custom fit last to me. They're I don't remember what they call that program, but they have a booklet that they send you that you have to do in their custom fit program. Like I said, they are half sole, natural edge, 2-row outsole stitch. I did use the Wesco branded buckles in this one.
Why did you go triple?
Well, quite frankly, I didn't know I could do triple. Chris didn't really give me the option when I filled it out. Otherwise, I would have. I don't know how Kyle got that Mr. Lou style ordered with a boss for me last time, but however he did it, I didn't know it was an option, so I didn't order it that way. But as you can see, this is struck through horse rump, so it is a nice deep struck through leather. Stitching on this pair is pretty immaculate throughout, which my other pair, obviously didn't have stitching problems. It had other problems, but stitching's pretty immaculate. As you can see, the lasting isn't quite fully symmetrical, but it's pretty close. It's also not exactly sitting on a flat surface either. And then here we go. Here's pictures. Perfect. You can really see kind of how fuzzy it is. This is before I had finished the bottom on these. So this is the kind of fuzz that you will see. Traditionally, it is quite a bit fuzzier there on the bottom. And this pair is special for a reason that I cannot really show. So when you order a pair of Wescos, they do come with a insert. So since they come with a leather insert, for a lot of us, we can just get either like a Bob Henderson or a Nick's Delta Arch insert, put it in, and bam, you have arch support. This pair, though you can't see it from the outside, does have a built-in instep for arch support. So I am using the default setup, and they actually have a built-up instep like a P&W Last in this one from the factory. I don't know if they're willing to do that anymore still or not.
You had to ask for that?
Mm-hmm.
Or what?
Yes, it's something Chris did for me. Yeah, Chris Warren from Wesco. So it feels...
I had asked for it and they didn't do it.
Yeah, it feels just like a Delta
They said
Arch.
they were going to.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it feels just like a Delta Arch. I don't know if they put like an extra half sole or exactly what they do to build it up, but it feels really close to a Delta Arch. I even threw a Delta Arch in there to double up and see how that would feel, and obviously that was a pretty big no-go. But yeah, I mean, so far they've worked out pretty well. I've only wore them on to test them because I might Thunderdome these next year. So, well, say next year. It'll be September, October this year, whatever the fuck that thing kicks off. More stitch down content to come. We're going to talk about the Thunderdome a little bit in the next couple episodes. Might ruffle a couple feathers, but it's important stuff to talk about, and I do think it will kind of come down to stuff that matters. But like I said, this custom last process does not work for everybody. It does seem to be fairly hit or miss. For every success, there seems to be a failure or two. I couldn't tell you what the cause of that is. I have no idea. I do know that Dale received a pair in olive waxed flesh from Horween recently, and those fit him quite well. He's actually found that he thinks that last might be one of the perfect for his feet. It is just the standard Mr. Lou last. Now, Dale kind of leans a little bit more into the, I want to call it medium arch. I'm going to say lower arch stuff or lack of arch stuff.
He doesn't need the arches.
Yeah, there's arch support in a lot of these boots, even though it's not like P&W arch support. I mean, there's not much arch support in the H&W, but it'd be a lie to say that they're the exact same as like a pair of Trumans, which really have no arch in them. So, it is what it is from that perspective. But yeah, so like I said, I got the extra leather from that back, since I did provide the leather, and it is with Flora at the moment. While I'm considering if I want to do another pair through her. There's not quite enough left to do a P&W pair. It was about 4.5 square feet left of the horse rump in total. And most of the P&Ws will not work with that light amount of leather. They generally want at least 6 to 7 square feet. They'd prefer 10 if at all possible. So that being said, I do not know if any of the P&Ws are accepting leather from customers anymore. I think Wesco might be the last one. I think Wesco might be the last one. I mean, Nick's, I don't know if they ever have. JK's doesn't, but whites would, if you did it through somebody like Baker's, they would take leather in, and even them, they're really not even taking a lot of that stuff. Even some of the stuff Kyle's sending. I know he was supposed to be doing a collaboration. I can't remember with who, but it was going to be the Nomad, their whites engineer, in dark brown Merriam horse rump. That never happened. So
they've been cutting back on Kyle a lot, and I think Kyle's the only one that they were taking him from.
Mm-hmm. So
sucks.
The last pair I'm aware of leather he gave them was the Winter Smoke Rambler pair that I have. So, and that might just be because they already had a bunch of Ramblers sitting there, and it's just a different color essentially. But yeah,
that blue came out great. I really like that blue. I mean, it's kind of daring, but it looks great.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's unfortunate that Shinky is such a pain in the ass to get, because that round of Shinky, I think there might be one more six square foot hide left with Rocky Mountain, maybe, or about 6 square feet in total left. But yeah, that was a pretty outstanding run of both blues and blacks.
I don't have the guts. I'm thinking about if I can find it. I don't even know if it's been made. I'm thinking about trying to find a Merriam reverse in a darker blue.
That's a good question.
More of a navy blue. It seems like something that I should be able to find, but I haven't seen it yet.
They have a navy color, so I do have Merriam blue in that color. But it's just the regular TPR. It's not reverse. So the color is definitely possible. I don't know if anybody's ordered that one or not. I've only seen like 3 colors so far: the natural, the Tuscanello, and the black.
I've seen green.
Oh, that's right. I think you showed me one. Mm-hmm. I think it was like Sagara or Underhoot or somebody. I do remember that now that you say it. But
only time I've seen it, and it looked sweet.
Oh, I bet.
Hope to be able to find some.
Yeah, like I said, I've only got the one pair of reverse. It's the reverse black and the Tahuras, and that's a magical leather. It really is. I Rocky Mountain, I think, has natural Tuscanello and black in stock at the moment. It's the non-wax version. It's just the reverse, which is very easy to wax yourself too if you really want the waxed look. I really hope that takes off, because that is just a very all-around good tannage. It's got some of the durabilities that the flesh side doesn't have. It's got enough that you could work in, right? Whereas like TPR, I don't think I would work in. It's not that it's not tough enough to do it, just at the price point. And the reverse is a little bit cheaper, shockingly enough, which shouldn't really be that shocking because it's less labor overall. So
I've got the reverse black waxed coming in another few months.
So, but yeah, overall, we've had our ups and downs with Wesco. While this pair did turn out miles better than my other pair, I don't know if I went over any other settings, but this one is a structured toe versus a non-structured toe. I didn't do the non-structured. My other pair is non-structured toe, so this one is structured. You can kind of see the color differentiation where it's been pulled over it. It is a 2-row stitch, even though they are pretty close together. It is actually, you can see from the bottom of these there, it is a 2-row stitch. Standard stitch down. I don't think I requested this, but they did do a black top so that it blends in a little bit better. I think I would prefer natural, but it is what it is. And I did choose the kind of like gold thread, outsole stitching thread. It didn't turn out super duper gold. It looks more gold from the bottom though. Like I said, I did do the Wesco branded buckles in silver. I did the regular length. I will end up punching another hole in this because I did the regular length belt strap up here. I have lady ankles, and I don't have particularly large calves either. A lot of people need this extended and can't use the regular one. This one, I will actually have to punch another one here. It just tiny ankle problems. You can actually see where it's kind of flexed in a little bit from the little bit I did wear it there from lady ankles, but yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's, I mean, as you can see, it's some thick boy leather. Like, this is not light stuff. I think this one came in right around 8.5 ounces or so, if I remember right, for the majority through the hide. So it's some stiff stuff. You can like really see on the belt here too that like it's not a thin piece of leather.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, black Dr. Soul super clear outsole. You know, the works from there. I still don't know what this leather piece they use in here is, or even if this is leather. It burnishes like it's leather. I don't know why they use a piece that's a slightly different color. Not really sure.
Well, he explained it.
Yeah.
He explained why. I mean, they got a batch once with it in there, and it's actually compressed leather. That's why it was being called a fiberboard. But it's almost a fiberboard. It's a fiber leather. It's a compressed leather that the block maker started putting them in them at one point to save money. And once they realized what was going on, instead of going backwards, I don't know if it's a lie or whether it's the truth, but apparently their customers liked having that one that was a different color. And they told them to keep on doing it.
Yeah, it's unique look. It burnishes like regular leather. Like, it took Toconol and burnished just like regular leather, and fiberboard does not do that.
Well, it's leatherboard.
Yeah,
is what I should have called it. It's leatherboard. It's compressed leatherboard. Yeah. So it is leather, but it's not a piece of leather.
Yeah, hide. Yeah, I mean, even some of the leather boards don't burnish very well, so that must be a lower glue content. It must be the fact that there's maybe a little less glue, so it burnished well. I'm completely speculation. Like I said, if you try to go do that with like the leather board heel stacks that are in your Allen Edmonds, I have a strong suspicion that it is not going to burnish that well at all without a ton of wax on top of it. So
you can request it without, and they would build it from scratch instead of the blocks that come in pre-done.
That's an interesting note for anyone that's interested in ordering if you want a full leather. I didn't know that was an option either. So my other pair I haven't had any problems with. So, and they've worked pretty well as shit kickers. It's just unfortunate something like oiled tan Latigo, which is kind of a high-end leather, is on a pair of shit kickers, but it is what it is. Kyle.
You can also request a leather heel counter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I did know. I did not do that. Or did I do that in this pair? This pair might have a leather heel counter. Oh, man, my focus is going all fucked up. What the hell? Come on now. Maybe back here. Perchance. Come on, camera. Okay, I guess I'll be blurry until it decides it wants to do something else over here. Maybe.
Bottle right up to the camera.
It is, there it goes. Okay. But this one might actually have the leather heel. One of my pairs does not. It might be the Mr. Lou-esque pair that has the styrene or styrocore or whatever the hell they call it heel counter. I don't remember. It's one of the two. But like I said, it hasn't been a problem so far, so I'm not worried about it yet. I mean, we'll see. Maybe in a couple of years I'll be on here bitching about, oh man, we should have did this and should have done that, and they shouldn't have done it this way. But time will tell. I could see why people would.
It takes that long to bitch, then it'll be okay.
Pretty much, yeah. And I could see why kind of people would like it. It does kind of give a unique style to it. You're not going to see anything else. So like I could see from like a, why did Bob Ross have the perm that he always hated? Because he was identifiable with the perm. Stood out from the pack. So. But yeah, like I said, those are the Wescos overall. Compared to my other pair, I'm very happy with these. The other pair fits perfectly. They work well as shit kickers. Not what I purchased them as, or the price point I purchased them at. But like I said, between Bakers and Wescos, we got that part worked out, so that didn't sting quite as bad. But yeah, I mean, unlike my last review of Wesco that was a lot more negative. I don't have anything negative to say about this pair. And since I provided the leather and anything, I think I paid less than $600 for that pair altogether. I mean, obviously I had money in the leather, but I mean, my paid to Wesco portion was less than $600. So worked out well for me this time. First time. We're on a little bit more roller coaster. So, alrighty. Next, I have them up here on the screen, but I'm going to show you in person. This is my, so I got 3 different kinds of shinky from Rocky Mountain when I did my original orders. I did the cognac brown, I did the black shinky struck through, and the blue shinky struck through. So far at this point, now everyone's seen the black, which is my 1 Flora night pair, and they've seen the blue, which is the Wesco. These are the cognac brown shinky horse rump in a bespoke Flora night bootine. This is a inlaid cowboy boot. So as you can see, it's got kind of, I'm going to call it a wingtip toe cap because that's kind of the idea of an inlay boot on a cowboy boot. But obviously it's not, your average Joe Smo wingtip, right? So this is a complete inlay. So these are all hand cut and hand skived. This is kind of like a pattern. So a lot of these are really like fleur de lis based. And I'm not a huge fan of the fleur de lis. For those who haven't heard the term fleur de lis, it is the logo that is on the Saints helmet, the New Orleans Saints helmets. That's fleur de lis. You see it a ton in shoemaking, especially in toe cap medallions. So this is a inlaid bootine. It does have goring covers. It's a very unique backstay stitching pattern. Also a unique goring pattern that's meant to match the backstay pattern. From above, it does have a flower on the toe. It's kind of meant to be reminiscent of a toe bug. Obviously not as a fleur de lis. And then it is a leather baker's outsole with some kind of custom groundwork that she's done to it. Lemon wood pegged waist. A little bit of matching work. So she did some work on the bottom to kind of match the patterns of it. And then obviously, it is a hand outsole stitched with a East Texas toe. This is a not quite 1/2 inch, but real close to 1/2 inch East Texas toe. So this is one of the smallest toes that she does. And then this is a deep cut Packer heel with a Dr. Souls black outsole or outsole. God damn it, Mike. Heel cap. So.
Everything about those is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable work.
And she also does a custom sock liner. It's kind of something she does. So that's meant to match the pattern of the sock liner. She's got like her kind of logo that done in the stylistic of the boot. Obviously, you can see the pegs going through and everything up under there. Best that I can show everybody. This is a new lining company she tried, which I think I have another pair in this. It's I'm blanking on the name of the liner now that I'm said it aloud. I'll have to ask. It starts with a T. I can't remember. I want to say Tandy, but it's definitely not Tandy. It's not tallow. I'll have to ask. I can't remember, but I think I have one other pair that has, not from her, but has this liner as well. But yeah, so we'll go to the pictures for those who want to zoom in and not see me just woo with my hands a bunch of times. So this is the beginning of the pair, and this is kind of what they look like in a more natural light setting. Like obviously I have a light in front of me that makes my face not look like I'm tired and depraved of sleep. So that's why you're getting such a bright light to the face. You see me kind of covering with my hands, but this is in an actual more natural lighting setting. As you can see, kind of. Now this is the only non-struck through leather. This brown or cognac is technically the color name. It is mill-tanned. So as you can see there, you have to be very, very careful with this color to not blow through the finish. And there is a couple spots where you can tell the finish was blown through that had to be fixed. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of intricate sewing work done on this. This is every, besides the flower, every stitch of the wingtip pattern, except for the final portion of the wing, is all 3-row stitched.
Look at that pass through.
Yeah. My instep spot for the pass-through line is something of legend. Beautiful stitching work on the back. I mean, Flora does just stunning stitching all around. And there you can kind of really see the detail work on the bottom. You can get another really good look at kind of like my instep with my... so the pass-through line Jeff's talking about is this section right here. And as you can see, I have a very big pass-through section. And a very tiny ankle spot. So that's one of the reasons the instep looks so big, is it's cut in real deep for my ankles. So, but yeah, this is all Baker's leather for the bottoming. Baker's leather in the heel stack, Baker's leather in the midsole, Baker's leather in the outsole. Baker's leather. I don't know if she uses Baker's leather for the welt, but based on the coloring, it kind of looks like she does. So, and this is cognac shinky for the goring covers. Those are kind of painful. Those have, not only do they have to be cut, they have to be hand skived down as well, because the original, here I'll show you guys, the original leather, this brown came in a little thinner. I think this was, come on camera now, you can do it, a little bit more focus, there we go. I think this one came in right around 7, maybe 7.25 ounces. This was a little thinner than both the black and the blue. But as you can tell from this top view, that is not 6-ounce leather. So it's still thick. It had to be skived down some, but like that's not 6-ounce leather. So, but yeah, overall the pair came out great. This was 3 rumps on this one, because these rumps were quite a bit smaller. But it turned out quite well. Cowboy boot people are definitely browns, so there was some of this leather left, and I did sell it to her, and she is making another pair for another patron out of the brown that's left. I think there was just enough for vamps and counters, though. There was not enough to do like a shaft or anything. So the shaft will probably most likely be kangaroo. Trying to think if I missed anything in the details in this. I mean, this is a bootine, just like the rest of them. This is just done in a different style bootine. This one has the narrowest of the toes. It doesn't look quite as narrow from this view, but remember, there is a cowboy toe cap on here. So that is, the inside is narrower than that. Now, these are a smidge longer than my other pairs to accommodate the smaller toe, obviously. But yeah. I mean, overall, this is probably, visually, this is the best pair that she's done. I think I like the style and the feel of the black the best, personally, between the quilled ostrich, the black, and the brown. Now, I've only worn these just a little bit because this is another pair that's up for a possibility of being Thunderdomed. But yeah, I mean, visually, this is the coolest pair. But I think fit-wise, I think the black pair I like the best, like in terms of wear. Now I've also wore the crap out of those. I've even done data center work in the data center in those. I know I shouldn't be doing shit like that, but it does happen. Especially because I shouldn't be on ladders and leather soles. Pretty sure there's an OSHA violation there somewhere. So I don't know what the violation is, but I'm sure it exists. So, oh, that's what keeps doing it. It's fucking every time I touch the whiskey glass. I guess I got to store the whiskey glass somewhere else. It keeps zooming in on it as I set it, go sit it down. But yeah, that's the Flora Night pair. Overall, I mean, came out fucking stunning. I don't think anybody is going to doubt that portion of the statement. But yeah, I can't think of anything else I missed on that. One thing that is growing on me a lot that I will say, and I think we all should take this to heart a little bit more, fucking single strip backstays are cool. Like, I used to be like a hardcore external counter cover backstay guy. I'm getting down with the like fucking single strip backstay. Like,
yeah, I like it too.
Something about that, just even with my other pairs of hers, like that's really starting to strike me. I know what's it, the White Stevens, I think they do a single piece backstay like this on?
White Stevens. Yeah. The counter is completely hidden. That's a single piece.
Yeah,
and there's just a strip tying it together.
Yeah, I'm really becoming a big fan of that. I mean, I like the way like a lot of the P&Ws do the single piece backstay, just because it's got a cool look, especially under your jeans. But like if they could make a single line out of it instead of covering the counter cover over and just letting it kind of bulge a little bit, I'm kind of like getting behind the idea that would be a kind of cool fucking P&W boot, to be entirely honest.
It messes you up for future rebuilds a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that.
You're never going to do a rebuild.
Yeah, where the heel counter can kind of move on you if you're not careful. You're probably not wrong on that. I feel like something could be done on that, but it's a matter of figuring it out. But that single piece backstay theme will continue in the next pair anyway, so we're not done with that concept just yet. But yeah, like I said, overall, stunning pair. I probably should have saved that pair for last because it's probably the most visually pleasing of the three pairs. But I have a feeling, at least knowing the audience that's in the call with me, the next pair will be quite liked as well. And on to that pair. That is a pair of KustomKraft monkey boots. Come on now.
Monkeys.
Don't be doing this shit to me. There we go. KustomKraft monkey boots in Cobell hot dipped harness. So this is a kind of older roofer style where there's no dress patch, and it is a straight through single pattern with a hidden heel counter cover, even though you can see the stitch. Single piece backstay in a similar style, and a nice wide, I don't want to call it Munson because Munson kind of looks like you have a bunion on the side of your toe, but it's definitely a big chunky boy toe. Not like a number 4 chunky boy toe, kind of a different chunky boy toe. The nice, I'll show pictures. Yeah. I'll show pictures of this piece here. He's got this kind of cool extra piece he's put in for me on it. It's kind of neat. It is the first pair of his I've gotten that's not lined. As you can see, the undertone of this leather's got like a mustard color to it. Very reminiscent of like cinnamon wax flesh. If anybody has cinnamon wax flesh, when you scrape the wax off, you get like this kind of mustard color under it as well. It's what really makes the reds in it pop. It is a different last. So the last has arch support, but it is not like his other one that's very P&W with a very defined waist and toe spring. This is a flatter last that is focusing more on overall foot balance, more so than arch support, but is actually pretty supportive of the arch. It's his standard style where he does the hidden stitches. As you can see from above, the stitches do go all the way back to the heel stack, but he does a blind stitch on them where he cuts the leather, pins it up, stitches it under, and flattens it back down, which I think is a super unique style. It's always kind of divisive on if people like the stitching running through here or not, or stopped right here. And this is a way where you get the strength of having it there, but it's also hidden. Now, of course, Dennis does a lot of this stuff by hand, including these particular monkey uppers are almost 100% sewn by hand. Why? I'm really not sure. He does certain parts of a lot of his uppers with a machine that he cranks by hand, but it is a sewing machine. It's just one that he articulates with his hand, not with any kind of motor. But these are almost exclusively done by hand for whatever reason. As you can see, he really makes sure that the lines terminate forward in the same way, so they got that nice curve to them. It is a nice deep monkey all the way up to the toe, which is nice. Very symmetrical with the eyelets all the way through. Very symmetrical face. Symmetrical in terms of anatomic foot shape, obviously. Like, obviously, these aren't like a perfect straight line because your toes aren't a perfect straight line like that. So, but overall, rolled top, very thick boy.
Very thick.
Rolled top. But this, compared to my other Cobell green hot dipped harness, this is quite a bit more malleable off the hop. Now it is thick stuff, like as you can see here. Like it is fairly thick leather. Like this has been skived, but if you look at this in the tongue, like this is a solid 7 and a quarter ounce leather, maybe 7.5 in certain areas. So it's not thin stuff by any stretch. But, you know, he does outsole stitch by hand, just like Flora. And he is pretty light on the nails. Like, he doesn't use a lot of nails or wood pegs, basically just right here where he uses the decorative brass tacks, and then he uses more standard nails in the heels. So this is his Cuban, which is really a beveled edge dress heel. They call this the spoon beveled dress heel. Gabbard uses this style a lot. This is very reminiscent of the creosote style. He uses this style heel in a lot of his. It's not really a logger. It's not a blogger, but if you wanted something as close to a blogger as possible, this would be it. This is very similar to a blogger. He just doesn't leave anywhere near as much down here in this portion. A blogger would come all the way out to the edge here, basically. So it's very similar to the people who like the blogger style. This is his shiny finish. I haven't had to do anything to it, so he does this super high shine. If you request it, he's got 3 or 4 different finishing styles. This is hand welted. He does do a 360-degree hand welt, but yeah. So I'm gonna go.
Why didn't you give that a shot?
Huh?
Why didn't you give 360 a shot?
I'll show you. I actually have a unique surprise with this one. So I haven't even told Jeff this. This is the first he's hearing about this. I have 72 pictures from the creation of that boot that Dennis sent me that we're going to go through. So we'll see all the phases of it being created. Yeah. So we'll get to that here in just a second. So we'll go through these pictures here real quick, and then I'll get the other ones open, and we'll go through it. So, but yeah, here's it in a more natural. So it is a red-brown color, very reminiscent of like a medium brown or like a cognac bison that's kind of been high-topped, just like cognac law bison. Very similar way. As you can tell, the in-between color is very reminiscent of the cognac bison from law as well. It's a very similar neutral tone color. As you can see, I don't know what they do to emboss it, but it's not a purely shrinking process, but it's not 100% man-made. You can tell it's not uniform enough, but it's not done exclusively with shrinking either. I'm not exactly sure how they do that. But it is mostly eyelets, which, like I said, the testing that I wore of them hasn't been terrible so far, but I probably should have had them do more than 3 speed hooks. That is something you can ask for. It's got a nice little flourish here on the edge. As you can see, all the stitching lines terminate in the same spots, which is quite cool. You can kind of see there the other boot that I don't have here, same hidden edge stitch or blind stitch. And then this is the part I was talking about here. So in it, on the thing, he put in no fame, just rugged, and he stitched this patch on there. I don't know what that saying is from, but that's something that he did put on this pair of boots. And he does a couple other unique things that we're going to see here. So give me just a second here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and get those open, and we can get started, because this is going to be the first time that Jeff has actually seen these.
I hadn't seen anything from this episode.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, you can see the screen, right, Jeff? Because this will be a new one for you.
Yep.
All righty. So these are what was on his social media. So this is the starting part. This is the pictures he took for his social media. It's his outside something brick. I don't remember exactly what. So you can see what they were before they came to me. As you can tell, I've worn them around the house for fit and nothing else, because the shafts are just a little bit more floppy than they are in his pictures. As you can tell, they clearly do this high spotting process by hand, because there's spots that it's a little bit darker than others. But overall, like I said, very uniform. Everything lines up quite well. I did go with brass eyelets, because brass eyelets look awesome with red colors. They pop together well. It's always a choice that I've liked from that perspective. So there's going to be quite a few of these that are overlapped. This is stuff that he did for social media. As you can see, the same stuff that I showed with the bottom. This is Dennis in his shop with the actual boots when they're done. This is in his corner where he takes pictures. If you've seen his social media, you've probably seen this. That's the stand that he works off of. So here's the actual leather on the table. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So you're probably going to ask, Mike, how do you know he didn't spill anything on these when he did it? Because you can see the marks right here when he's drawing it out. That's how I knew. So as you can see, it's a fairly large hide. It's a thick hide, and it's obviously not super uniform in how they high top it, which is fine. It adds to the rustic nature of the leather. But you can see the pieces being cut out. This is skiving plate and a skiving knife. So you can see different parts. These are the pieces that become the pads that go on the tongue. Punches out all the holes by hand. That's where he punches out his eyelets by hand. Well, actually, the hooks go through these as well. He does the hooks the same way. This is that hand crank post bed stitcher that I was talking about. This is where he does the backstay. I don't know why it's common, but almost all the more bespoke makers, even if they have machines, almost all of them do the backstay by hand. A lot of your Indonesians do the backstay by hand as well. I don't know if it's just better than the saddle stitch machine that a lot of the more production guys use. It probably is a little bit better, and since they're doing smaller batches, they do. But you'll see that almost every pair of like non-factory boots, they do this by hand. And even some of the factory ones, they do some of these parts by hand too. So that's when a large portion of the stitching is done here. Not all of it's done. Obviously, it doesn't have the rolled top yet. It's got a lot of the eyelets in it. It's got the holes punched for the hooks. Doesn't have the internal heel counter cover on it yet. It also does not have the vamp piece in just yet. Here's where he's going to put the rolled top on. This is pair number 53. You can see where he's doing the internals for the counter cover and the internal liner. You can tell it's a white leather, but the side that you actually see is actually this natural side here. This has the vamp in. Here's the part where he's sewing some of these pieces by hand. This is the done pair right here. So this is sewed, ready for lasting. Also has the gap for the heel counter in, but it's not in yet. This is my last. It's not in the pictures, but he uses a thing called a, what is the name of that press? There's a specific press. It's called a Lamac press that they use to press down on it to get the shape, and then you go back and trim these later. Oh, you see a lot of guys use bicycle inner tube and nails to pin this up. It's also a common way of doing it. As you can see, he has used some nails. Anywhere you see these like little bit of black marks, that's staining from the nails. So you can see there, because this is done while it's wet. So it's still a bit of rust. So you can see there is some areas where he does use nails to help curl it up. This is after it's been trimmed. He's done the trimming. This is, we've talked about this before, but this is getting the front and back lined up even. This is the perpendicular line to the feather line on the edge, and this is the golden ratio here where the ball of your foot should go in relation to the last. We've talked about it. Texas Traditions, we've showed an old guide for shoemakers that shows this particular part of the process. It's marked. This is preparing the welts. So that's the edge cut in the welt that's going to go on the inside, which is also technically skived. These are the leather heel counter covers. This is soaking them so that they mold. This is the actual first part of the channel for the flat welt, the hand inseam flat welt. This is the second part of the channel cut. Now you asked why I didn't do 360 on the outside. It is 360 on the inside. As you can see, there is an edge here for it, and you'll see that here in a minute. Holes are poked and marked for the welting. This is just a little bit of baby powder so that hopefully the last is more likely to come out, with the different processes that are done with different levels of wetness on the leather so that it doesn't want to stick and bind to the wooden last. This is the first part of the lasting where it's initially formed. If you've seen videos of like Nick's or Frank's on social media where they have it sitting on a shelf next to fans, this is that exact same step where it's there for a couple days to take the initial kind of shape of the last before they actually do the lasting. This is it actually lasted with all the nails. Kind of another view of it so you can see. Kind of see where it's pulled in different areas. You can see these extra marks up here, kind of where they reinforce the toe with extra, they double up on the stitches. They run an extra cord through and wrap around that cord to strengthen the toe area. Here's kind of a different picture from the side lasted. You can see the two pairs of them. Here's the backside whip stitch. So it is really 360 welted to the footbed itself. It's just these don't show with an actual exterior welt, but it is whip stitched in. A little bit of hand wax there where he's waxing the threads to get ready for the process. That is a piece of piano wire that he's going to use to do the welting itself. As you can see, there's the two different pieces and some wax. Here he's actually doing the welting itself. So as you can see, he uses wooden pegs in this area to secure the welt itself to it, but it is one full 360-degree piece. It is not an actual rand, so there's only one join, and it's right here. And for those who want to see on camera, there is the join right there. So it's a very well executed join. Obviously, if it wasn't natural, you wouldn't be able to see this at all. But since it's natural, you can see. Alrighty. Kind of just a different light angle of it done. That's the same left boot. This is where he's going to heat up a nail to make a shank out of it. That's a shank template. So he heats the nail up, hammers it flat, creates a cavity in leather for the actual shank itself, which is just a nail. It's a nail on the shank. And then this is a piece of leather that he uses as a cover, and he uses wooden pegs to affix the cover down over the top of it. Sanded flat. Finishes it with this, and then this is something he does. He writes a message on the bottom of each boot. It's a different message for everybody's pairs of boots. And without this picture, you wouldn't know what he wrote here, but there's a message for each one of these. So in this one, thank you so much. And he's wishing me luck with every step he takes, with every step I take. So here you can see where the midsole's been added and the channels have been cut for the blind stitch. Kind of a different angle of it. This has been prepared for the half sole. And at this point, all the holes have been punched for the outsole stitch. I think this picture is a little out of order. This is obviously a step after this one. And then here's where he's actually doing the hand outsole stitching itself. So you can kind of see how it pokes through there and where he kind of starts the process. This is what gets hidden under this is there, but that's under the heel stack. So you can kind of see here from the side that the actual tie off is going to be there. Just the pieces for the actual heel stack itself. You can see the first one that's down, and this is an interesting way of doing it. So you see this a lot in bespoke. So instead of like leveling from the bottom the way a lot of the P&Ws do, a lot of your bespoke or kind of low volume makers level off the very first stack that's put in, and then the rest are done in different layers. This is just Tim sanding and cleaning up the edges. As you can see, my last is actually a 2-part last. So it's broken down and pulled out in 2 parts. And there's the last hook that pulls each one out. You can see where it grabs and pulls the heel out once this bolt right here has been taken out. And you can see where it grabs the front part there. So here you can see all of the wooden peg tops that get cleaned up. And that might be the last picture. Yep. And then from there, that's, we see from the beginning from it. So that was kind of a cool thing that he sent me once the boots were in the mail for this episode, is we got to see pictures of the process. So hopefully that answers the question of why I haven't done the full 360 degree. It actually is a 360 degree weld. It's just not what you would consider a full 360 degree inseam weld.
Well, it's not visible.
Correct. Yep.
So there was a choice there.
Yep. But yeah.
I know why most of them don't get done there, but he could have.
Yeah.
The way that he constructed it.
Yeah, it lets him get a lot tighter in with the heel. So, like, obviously, if he had stitching here, right? So if we did stitching in this area, he couldn't go quite as close as he does, but you could get very, very close. Like, it wouldn't be that much of a difference, but with the way that it's done, it really lets him bring that heel in. But you can choose to have it completely visible. That is a choice that you can make.
Great pictures. Awesome.
Yeah. So, hope everybody enjoyed that. Even Jeff didn't know I had those ready to go for this episode.
Had no idea.
Figured it was a fun little surprise. Yeah. I figured it was a fun little surprise, so. But yeah. So that's what I have received recently. And by recently, basically everything I've received over the past 5 months. It's not that recent, but it's the stuff that I basically received since I did the last episode, which I think was September-ish time frame, if I remember right. September, October. So maybe it's been more than 5 months actually now, because we're in May. So 7 months.
We've done episodes since then.
What's what I've received since October. So that's 7 months. I don't know why I'm thinking it's like March, but yes, that's what I received in the last 7 months. But yeah, I guess I do have the one Frank's rebuild that I don't have here. I guess I could have grabbed those. I can do that real quick. Hold on a second. It's kind of it's a weird,
another episode.
Yeah. We'll worry about it a different time. It's in a Galloon test hide that probably won't get ordered again.
I forgot to hit the stopwatch, but we got to be.
Yeah, we're at 52 minutes
on this episode.
Yep. No, we're good. But yeah, that's what's been received by me recently. Hope everybody enjoyed, especially the hidden Mickey pictures of the KustomKraft pair. So hope everybody enjoyed to kind of see a little bit more behind the scenes of the process and whatnot. So
great pics and great boots. Always love seeing monkeys.
Yeah, and it's a cool style too. I think the only other person I see that does like I'm gonna call it a dressy style. I know it's really meant to be more of a roofer style, but it's kind of a dressier style, right? Is Fortis does a style very similar. Fortis from Indonesia. He does a kind of single piece backstay with stitched in lines that doesn't actually have a dress patch or anything, and he does kind of some fancy stitching on his in the same way too. But I'm a big fan of Dennis's work. He does fantastic work. So his waiting list is getting up there these days. I think he's like 2.5, 3 years. So I think I ordered this. Yeah, I think I ordered this pair in 23, if I remember right. So I was right about 2 years away on these. So and I have one more pair. I sent him some Ricardo Museum Emerald Green shell for the last pair. A couple years ago I sent him the shell, so I have one more pair come from him, what he calls his Kyle boot, which is a boondocker style boot. So that'll be an interesting one. I think it'd be one of his first times working with shell too. But if I didn't say it in the beginning, and I'm pretty sure I didn't, like, comment, and subscribe, please. I think I meant to say it in the beginning and it slipped my mind, or I don't know, maybe I said it and someone's like, he said it 4 times. Yeah, is what it is. But yeah, and kind of let us know down below. One of these days I will get started on a collection video. I'm gonna be honest, uploads have gotten a little sparse. They've gotten sparse because I am just fucking drowning at work, to be entirely honest. Maybe one day it'll probably be like a 5-part video to do it well, so I can take good pictures of each and have the pairs in front of me and whatnot, because I have Instagram pictures over the years, but some of these pictures are 2 and 3 years old or older now. They're not recent. So for me to really do a collection video, I will probably have to redo a lot of those pictures, because while it's cool for me to hold it up and show, it is also good for the people, especially on their phones, that want to zoom into the pictures a little better, for me to have nice quality static pictures up for them really to zoom into. It's something that's coming. We've tried to maintain a 2-episode release schedule. That is probably not going to be the case for a little while as of right now. We'll see what the future holds. Probably these are going to be released on a more as they're completed basis instead of done in a, more systematic format. Like I said, with the stitch down videos coming, we're a little like a month and a half late on meeting the end of that. It was supposed to be lined up a little closer with the actual end, but here we are. So, but yeah, let us know what you think down below. Let us know if you're interested in more like these unboxings, what we get, because we've talked to a couple of the people in the Frank's Boot community, and Jeff might be able to do some more like Frank's unboxings, or maybe some other brands that could be sent to him that he could do on camera. I don't know if people are interested in that. It's kind of up to you guys. Obviously, Jeff's not going to be able to fill in the blanks like he can with a pair that he designed. He'll just be able to kind of talk about it. He won't necessarily be able to give you all the rationale behind it. Let us know if you're interested in that. Something we've thought about, we've kind of considered, but we also didn't know if they were going to be able to add enough information for it to be relevant for anyone, because we can't really explain the design reasons behind it. Just like, this is what the design is. So, something we can work on. Let us know if you want something like that.
We'll have to see how the first one goes.
That's true too. So, anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Plancha.